Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you to WeLoveMetal.com. We are on the phone with Kevin Keegan of Barnburner. How you doing today, Kevin?
Hey, not so bad, man. How you doing?
Good. Last time you and I talked, you were rocking the hell out of Halifax here down in Nova Scotia. You guys put on a great show that night.
Yeah, that was with 3 Inches of Blood, right? Or was that with Iron Giant? I can't remember.
No, that was with 3 Inches.
Oh, it was? Okay, right on.
And you're making another run here through Canada. What can fans expect this time?
Well, we've got a new record coming out June 7th, so they're going to expect a lot of new songs. And like about, halfway, 3/4 of the way through the tour, the record will be out. Hopefully we'll have some advanced copies that we'll be able to sell before the actual street date. So, yeah, I'm fingers crossed that, people that come to the show will be able to get the new album.
Excellent. That new album's titled Banger 2, Scum of the Earth, correct?
Yeah, Bangers 2, Scum of the Earth, that's right.
Awesome. Is there any surprises on this album when you guys recording it?
You know what? It's hard to say. Like, it seemed really natural for us to kind of do. This record just was kind of like a continuation of things. There was no like abrupt sort of stop, like period between the first record and this record where we weren't writing and we started writing this record. So like when we were recording the first record, we were still writing for this album now. So to us, it's a continuation. But at the same time, I think that. So far the people that have heard it, they think it sounds quite a bit different, and a lot of it's the production. But yeah, a lot of it is just we got better as players as well, and wanted things to be a little bit more intense on this one. So yeah, I think people are gonna. It's a good thing though. It's not a huge departure, but it's a step in the right direction.
Excellent. That actually leads right into my next question here. With the touring schedule that you guys keep, it's hectic. Where do you find time to write and get together to do this?
Yeah, it's tough. That's a really tough thing to do because when we're back in town, everybody is frantically working our, shitty jobs, inter-tour jobs, just to save up enough to go on tour, and we're working so much that we're exhausted. So getting together it's hard. We can't get together as often as we'd like, but. It just kind of works in a way where I always find the time to write songs, so I kind of do as much as I do of the legwork as I can before coming to the jam. And so like when we all jam together, it's very efficient. We get things done really quickly because I kind of do most of the arranging and writing myself, and I come in with kind of a pretty much finished product, and then I sort of tell the guys what to play or whatever.
And the new record, you actually used Adrian Popovich again. That must be a good relationship you guys have going there.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like I can't think of working with anybody else. He's just a good friend, and he knows exactly. We have the exact same taste in music and sort of the same ear for what we want to hear. So it's it just made sense.
Is it important to have a producer that you can trust?
Yeah, absolutely. You want to be able to trust your producer 100% because, he's going to be throwing ideas at you, and if you don't trust him, then you're not going to want to use his ideas or even hear them out. So when you have someone you respect and trust, then, he's going to say, listen, like I have this idea, and you're going to want to hear it out. There's still moments where, I have a certain confidence in the way I want things to sound, and Adrian has a certain confidence as well. So we don't butt heads in a bad way, but there'll be points where it'll be like, no man, I'm telling you, I think this is a good idea, but we're always really good at being like, all right, and then in the end, one of us is always like, you know what, you were right about that. Like this is awesome, sort of thing. So it always works out. Excellent.
You guys are really well known for your live show. I think one fan told me at the last one, you guys bring the party every time they see you. Is that your intention?
Yeah, we're actually pretty critical of our own live show. We sort of are always kind of trying to step it up, and it's like these days it's like live music. That's the only way you're going to be able to kind of keep it up as a band. You can't rely on selling records anymore. So you've got to tour, and you've got to make people want to come and see you. They've got to expect something. They've got to want to see something, and you have to sort of deliver. So it's absolutely like we got to of get into the zone, even if there's only 5 people there. You can't like let anybody down, sort of thing. I think most touring bands kind of understand that, and yeah, you got to put the pressure on but you also have to like relax and have a good time. Like the best shows are when you're just having fun and relaxed and not so serious. So there's like a good balance there.
Do you find it difficult to transfer that energy to the studio?
It's a different kind of energy for sure. Yeah, it's because the studio, there's nothing visual going on. Like when you're listening to a record, it's not so visual. You're listening, so that the energy kind of transfers into just the audio, and so I guess it's kind of like just kind of you sort of funnel it in that way. So when I'm if I'm playing live and I'm singing a song, I've got a smile on my face. The song might be like a little bit, the vibe of the song might be a little bit, dark. Like the lyrics might be sort of dark and more serious, but it's still, we're banging our heads and we're smiling and we're laughing. But in the studio, when I'm singing that song, it's like I'm trying to get into the zone. So it's a different kind of energy that you funnel into it, and it comes out in a different way. But it's at the same time, it's all the same amount of energy that goes into it.
I got a fan question, Kevin, from Guitar God 16. He wants to know if the fun that you guys bring to the stage, if that is something that's missing right now in most live metal performances.
It might be. I mean, I find a lot of bands have a lot of energy, but they have the same sort of presence as dozens and dozens of other bands. This whole kind of standing in one place. All the guitar players sort of standing in one place, kind of doing the windmill with their hair, and you're seeing a lot of hair, and then you've got a front man kind of doing most of the work, prancing around, the occasional movement from the guitar players, but it's kind of cookie cutter, I find. So you have a little bit more interaction, and things aren't as planned out, I think. There's the spontaneity of a live show, I think, is a bit more exciting for people, and I find that it seems rehearsed with a lot of these kind of run-of-the-mill metal bands, and I feel like there is a lot of energy there, but it's rehearsed and it's the same every time. So yeah.
I have to congratulate you on your interaction with the fans, because some of the stuff you say is just hilarious, and it really makes people feel involved. So.
Oh, great, man! I'm glad. That's the whole thing. Is we don't want to make people feel like we're this separate entity and you can't come and hang out with us. It's that's ridiculous. It's like we're just fucking a bunch of like banger dudes like anybody else, and we're just like doing this, and there's so many other people that like doing this too. So it's just so much common ground.
With the success that you guys have experienced, especially of late, was there a different feeling going into the recording of this album?
I mean, there was a bit of a different feeling because we had, this time there was, with the first record we had no money to work with, so it was, it took a long time, and it was sort of like over the span of a month and a half, kind of going into the studio when we could scrape together enough money to pull it off. And this time there was a little bit more freedom just because there was a bit more of a budget behind it. So like that kind of gave it like a little bit more of some ease. But it was still a tiny budget, and we had to work with very little time. So there was a bit of a different kind of stress there. As with last time, we had a lot of time because we were stretching it out, sort of, paying as we went. And this time it's like we had this little lump of time that was paid for, but it was very little time. So it made it. I was a bit more high strung during this process, I think.
I actually just recently had an interview with Liam Cormier, the Cancer Bats, and he said something quite striking to me. He said, to be a musician these days, you have to live for the music, not do music for a living. Do you agree with that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's 100%. Yeah, I mean, Liam's a good friend of mine, so I'm sure we've had that late-night conversation before. So yeah, I mean those are words to live by. It's the way it is. If you like we don't do this. There's nothing that comes out of this, financially. or materially. You do it because it's the only thing. Well, for me, anyways, it's the only thing that I'm really good at. So that's what I'm going to do. And I fucking you eat shit along the way, but you just keep it up just because it's so much fun, and that release is crucial to the life as we know it.
After this album drops, what can we expect from Barnburner, Kevin?
Well, it's really kind of up in the air right now. I'm kind of excited. I don't know. I sort of don't know what the future holds right now so much. We've got a couple of tours on the horizon, but I'm really excited to see kind of how people take to this next record. And I'm excited. I don't have like super high expectations, but I'm excited because I'm really happy with this album, and I feel like, and the label's really excited too, and the whole band's excited. So I think that excitement hopefully will sort of continue on and grow. And yeah, I'm just really excited about it, and I think that who knows what's going to happen, and I'm just excited to see what does. My expectations are just like, oh yeah, a couple tours maybe, but anything above that happens, I'll be very, very happy.
And that album, Bangers 2, Scum of the Earth, does drop on June 7th, to let everyone know. And you guys are going on a pretty extensive tour, so I encourage people to get out for a great live show. And I really got to thank you for doing this, Kevin. I know you're a busy man. I certainly appreciate it.
Hey, anytime, man. Anytime.